Hi folks, Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilia here, taking a peek at the tropical update for September 28th of 2020, brought to you by the folks over there at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling. I mean, here we are at the end of September, and we're starting to get out of the two big giant bullseyes on here in terms of where we look in the tropics, and we start to sneak a little bit closer to home, looking into the Northwest Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, and just off of the East Coast. In general, storms really stop trekking as far off to the west, and wherever they begin, they tend to either go kind of north and a little to the northwest, or generally off to the north and northeast. So we're getting away from the big the big tropical waves coming off of the eastern Atlantic and trekking all the way back across and toward the United States. And now we look for things that happen just a little bit closer to home. And then once we get into November, we just kind of lose the bullseyes that we do keep tabs on roughly the same area. Well, what's happening out there? Well, we got a lot going on. We got a little wave happening here. We've got some activity just off of the East Coast. I think that this is still what's left over of Paulette out here. I think. I haven't kept up with Paulette over the last couple of days, but last I checked, this is where Paulette was hanging out, and so it makes me want either that or it got pulled into this up here. Either way, it's it's amazing that the P storm is still floating around out there, though. A little bit closer to home, we are watching this area for development as we head through the next couple of days. National Hurricane Center pasting it with a 40% chance of development in the Northwest Caribbean. This is going to be the combination of two things. You've got the cold front that's going to be sliding through the Gulf of Mexico through the next couple of days, and then you've got this little blow-up of convection that's going to slowly kind of meander this direction. Where these kind of run into each other, you end up in a situation where you're going to have an opportunity for development. You're going to do this down, let me kind of zoom out here for a second. You're going to do it kind of like downstream. There's going to end up being a bit of a trough kind of set up right here. And so once you get to the base of the trough, all your lines are kind of close together in here. But you end up in a point down here where you start to get divergence happening aloft again, and that's one of the reasons that they're keeping tabs on that down there. This is kind of how it shakes out. 700 millibar moisture, 850 vorticity map. Of course, you can see all the dry air. There's your front right there. So this dives this direction. Your front is laid up kind of right in here. Your wave is moving through parts of the Caribbean right here, and it's kind of sliding kind of that direction. And if we kind of clear that out, we'll run this through to Thursday, Friday, and you can start to see what ends up happening here as these two kind of run into each other. You still have the trough off to the north like this. You start to get into an area of a little bit of divergence. You get a little secondary push up here of another little cold front. It doesn't really do much to push any more of that dry air any further off to the south. It's more of kind of like a reinforcing shot to kind of keep the axis kind of right in here as we head through Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday next week. Notice this thing doesn't move that much. I mean, we were talking about, late this week it's going to be in here, and then mid next week it's going to be just on the other side of the Yucatan. Beyond that, it doesn't really move much either, because the trough that's set up here goes from being a sharp one like that to more of a kind of wider one like that. So there's the flow around this. There's nothing to really pick this up and take it off to the northeast. There's nothing down here to nudge it off to the northwest, so it just kind of sits there. We'll have to see if this is how things shake out by the time we get to October 8th. I would be hard-pressed to believe this in the long run, but given the available data that we have in front of us, there is nothing here necessarily in the data that shows that it should get up and move and go somewhere, so we're stuck with saying it's not really going to pick up, move, and go anywhere. Chances are these troughs that come through are going to shake out a little bit differently, so we'll probably see some differences in the modeling coming up in the next couple of days, but we got plenty of time to keep tabs on that 40% chance of development. And that's the only game in town right now, too, which is some good news. So there's a look at your tropical update for 9/28 of 2020. Brought to you by the folks at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling.